What was that? You got another error message?
Yeah, I'm still getting the error message.
Okay, you may need to reload Zoom. So
Okay.
I would try to reload Zoom and then go from there. That's what somebody else had to do this morning for exercise.
Wow, that's so fun. All right, it should take me a quick sec.
Okay. All right, so we're ready. We are live on YouTube and we're ready to roll.
All right.
Let me spotlight you, Liz.
Yes, please.
There you go.
Thank you. Well, welcome to Chatham Striders Walk and Learn. I think this is the biggest amount of people that we've had on this, and it's great. We're so thrilled that you're here. For those who are first time, we talk a little bit about updates from different organizations throughout the county. We have a speaker, and we do some warm up and stretching exercises, and then we do a virtual walk right in our, well, I'm in my living room, my dining room, and some people are in their bedrooms, and you know, so wherever you are, we will do a virtual walk, just standing in place, and so we're thrilled that you're here. I am the senior center manager over at the Eastern Center, and we decided to do our Chatham Striders Walk and Learn because we know that there's a lot of people walking, and we wanted to still maintain that sense of unity, that sense of walking together, even though we can't, it's not socially acceptable. It's not, we have to be socially distant when we walk. And so initially we were going to do this in person. We were kind of are doing it in person right now. So we're glad that you're here. The first thing that I wanted to do was to introduce, I guess, Jackie again, and she's going to talk about, I think she is, about some of the activities that are going on at the Eastern.
Liz, give me just a minute.
Okay. All right, how about
Liz, can you give me just a minute? I grab my phone. If you go to CL.
Okay. Debbie, do you have any updates that you want to share about the hospital?
Well, just so that everybody knows, the maternity center is up and rolling. So we do offer maternity services now. So that's going great. And most services here are up and going. We still have the testing site out back, and all of our surgical cases are being tested, so it's safe to have surgery here. I think we've got got a way to keep people safe while they're getting the care they need at the hospital. So I think our services are all back to normal here at Chatham.
Oh wow, that's awesome. How about COVID? You want to tell us about that at all? Are you seeing a lot more?
Well, yes, we are seeing a lot more. Luckily, the cases don't seem quite as serious from the people that we've seen. We have less hospitalizations, but more positive numbers right now. So everybody continue to be vigilant, in maintaining your social distancing, wear a mask, and eyewear is very we have to wear it as healthcare providers, but I would recommend it. You can go online and get safety goggles because you can, the mask is protecting other people from you, but in order to protect yourself from people that are not wearing a mask, if you find yourself in that type of situation, wearing some eyewear, even normal glasses is better than nothing, but they really recommend the kind that come around so that if someone were to cough or sneeze or have the particles, that you don't absorb it through your eyes. So, so that's my recommendation if you need to be out, but just continue to be, don't let your guard down.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie, are you ready?
I am. I appreciate it. I had to relocate so that you guys could see me. So I had room to do this, to do everything I got to do today. So today I would just want to highlight some of the programs we've got coming on in November. Obviously, tomorrow we're closed for the Council on Aging based on Veterans Day. On Thursday, we have Spill the Beans with Liz is going to be going on at 11:15. On Friday at 10:15, we have our week weekly call with Dennis Streets, our executive director, and he's going to have on a special guest of Laura Hearn from the Chatham County Public Health Department, and she's going to be talking about diabetes awareness. So we would love to have you there for that, as well as we'll have a song or two from Gina Marion Goldston. And then on Monday, we have our bingo, and we really want to encourage people to, you may not be a big bingo player, but it's really a fun time. It's really a time of connection with other people in the community. So we invite you to that. It's at 11:15. The way you got in today is the same way you could get in for bingo. And then next Tuesday we have a Jeopardy game with our UNC nursing students that are working with us at the center. And then next Wednesday, we have at 10 o'clock, we have a healthy living strategies for living at home. It's to give you the tools you need to know what you can do to take care of yourself so that you can continue to live in your home as you get older. And then Science with Alan will be on the 19th at 11:15. And we know that for a lot of people at the Western Center, that's a highlight, as well as other people in the community. And then on the 20th, we have a great, our weekly call with Dennis will have our wonderful storyteller, Neria Edwards-Boone, who is with us this morning also. She does an amazing job telling stories that are very, very poignant for the moment that we may be looking at. And my guess is she's going to be talking about Thanksgiving on that day. So we would love to have you join us. And then the end of the month on the 25th, before we close for Thanksgiving, we're going to have bluegrass music with Uncle Ed and the original Haw River Crawdaddies. So that's on the 25th. So we've got a lot of things that we would love to have you be part of. And we always have our exercise classes. We would love to have more people join us for those. On Mondays and Wednesdays at 9, we have Tai Chi for arthritis. On Mondays and Thursdays at 10, right now we're doing an arthritis class. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays at 9, we have body conditioning. So there's a lot of offerings there to help get you and keep you healthy. And that boosts your immune system, which is really good, so that we stay healthy. Back to you, Liz.
Can you share some of the phone numbers for those who are on, calling in, what number they would need to dial if they wanted to participate?
Yes. So if you want to participate on those, for the programs that are 11:15, I'll give you this number slowly. It's 1-833-568-8864, and then you would enter the meeting ID that's on the calendar. And the meeting ID for all of the 11:15 programs, like the one that you're on today, the meeting ID is always the same, and that's 160-532-1331. Now, if you're one of our seniors from one of our centers, or you're out there and you want to have us call you into the program, you can either call the Eastern Chatham Senior Center at 919-542-4512, or you can call our Western Center in Siler City, and that number is 919-742-3975, and just ask to be added to our programming call-out list. And then we will be happy to call you in, like we have so many of the people here today. So we don't want the people that don't have the computers or the tablets or whatever to feel like they can't participate. And that's why we have the ability to either call you in or to have you call in by phone.
Okay.
And
perfect. About
one
the
more
conference line. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the one more is we this month we started what we call short stories with Chris, and it is always on Wednesdays at 12:30. And that is on the conference line, just like the Friday call with Dennis at 10:15. And the conference line number is, and we've changed this, I think it was in September, to make it so you don't have to add an extra password or whatever at the end. You don't have to enter any code. All you have to do is dial direct to 1-727-731-8717. Again, that's 1-727-731-8717. And if you've got any questions about these numbers and you don't have it, it's all on our calendar. You can also call our senior center and ask them for help.
Jackie, so we gave you a lot of numbers. If you want to, you can actually get a calendar if you don't already have one from either one of the centers, and we can help you out. So Mallory, are you available to talk about what's going on at the council, not the council, the county? Oh, let me get you on here.
I got her.
For some reason,
Hi.
it wasn't coming on. You're on there too. You shared the video, so hold on. Let me get.
Oops. Wait a minute. There you are.
Okay. Hey, Mallory. Mallory's with the Chatham County Parks and Rec, and well, you've had quite an experience with all the computers being hacked.
Yes. So over here with Chatham County, we have experienced a cyber incident. So we have we've had just a little bit of chaos over here, but we've been doing our best to handle it and to get information out to the public as that becomes available to us. There is contact information for how to contact certain Chatham County departments, including Parks and Recreation, on the county's websites and social media pages. If anyone needs to get in contact with Parks and Recreation, we have a temporary number that we can be reached at, which is 919-519-8502. So if anyone needs to get in contact with Parks and Recreation, or if anyone needs anything from the county, go ahead and give us a call, and we can definitely get you in contact with whoever you need to speak with. But yes, so the cyber incident has impacted our ability to use our emails, our computers, our landlines, and some internal web software as well. So we're figuring it out, and we're getting by. But for more information, please just see the county website, as that is where the most accurate and up-to-date information will be posted. So
Mallory, could you repeat that temporary phone number just quickly?
Yes, this is the temporary phone number for Parks and Recreation. Other departments also have temporary phone numbers that I don't know of at this time. So the Parks and Recreation temporary phone number is 919-519-8502.
Great. I'll put that in the chat so that everybody can see it.
Great, thank you. So that is what's going on in regards to the cyber incident. But I also just wanted to share about an event that we have coming up in December. We're having our second annual Holiday in the Park event. It will be a drive-through style event where families are welcome to come drive through our park and collect some Christmas ornaments to decorate, or to collect reindeer food. Kids can write a letter to Santa and hand deliver it to Santa. And there'll be lots of decorations and lights and Christmas music, holiday music playing. So that will be a good time. That is Friday, December 11th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Northeast District Park. And more information on that event can be found on our website and our Facebook page as well. So that would be a great event to bring your family to, or to drive through if you like looking at Christmas lights and a Christmas tree. That'll be a good time. So mark your calendar for December 11th.
We was supposed to go to the seniors was supposed to go to the Charleston, South Carolina this December, but that's been canceled because of COVID.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Daryl. There is.
That would be a great trip.
Yep, we'll have another trip when things are cleared up. So
yeah,
we sure will.
Yeah.
Well, we're thinking about going on a virtual trip for December, so Jackie's kind of working on that one. So stay tuned. You might be able to go on a virtual trip. Anyways. Well, thanks, Mallory. We appreciate your partnership, and I'm glad that you were able to come on today.
Yeah, sorry, it took me a little longer to get on. Having, just lots of issues with the internet. So,
Yeah,
but
you weren't the only one.
I'm sure, but I ended up logging on with my phone, so I was able to get on.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. And Debbie, well, let me see. I guess, are you ready to start?
Oh, yes. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, that's fine. Mhm.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Some
can.
people can, some people can't.
Okay, great. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about tips to manage your diabetes. As most of you know, November is National Diabetes Month. And also we've got the holidays coming up, and a lot of diabetics have difficulty managing their blood sugars during the holidays. So my goal is to be able to, if I can get my, there we go. Here's some of the learning objectives. We're going to talk about the plate method, which is one of the most simple ways to create healthy meals. We're going to learn the difference between simple and complex carbohydrates. And we're going to learn guidelines for monitoring your blood sugars during exercise and signs and symptoms of high and low blood sugar. So the plate method is simply the easiest way because you don't have to count or calculate or weigh anything. You simply need to have a plate that's about 9 inches across, and you'll draw an imaginary line down the center here. And so half of your plate, you're going to fill up with non-starchy vegetables. Then you'll have a quarter of it with carbohydrates and a quarter with protein. This right here just tells you how to make sure that your plate is the appropriate size. I don't know if you've ever seen, some people's bowl of cereal is like half the box can fit into it. So portions are important. And some people, if you have, larger plates, just be mindful that you don't need real big plates. If you don't have a 9-inch plate, you might want to measure it to make sure it's not over 9 inches. But again, we just talked about, it's very simple. You just half your plate, put some non-starchy vegetables. So what are non-starchy vegetables? You want to go with things that are like broccoli, kale, mushrooms, tomatoes, vegetables that don't have a lot of carbohydrate in them. They are full of vitamins and antioxidants. So this is a great way to eat to even improve your immunity. So we probably don't eat enough vegetables in the American diet. I know I have to really struggle with that personally. So then you want to do a quarter of your plate with protein. So the recommendation is that you eat lean protein and protein that is not, fried or has a lot of saturated fat in it. And so the other thing is there's also some plant-based proteins like beans and legumes. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but they actually have carbs in them. So it gets a little tricky. But this right here is examples of lean proteins. My favorite is the Greek yogurt. But, I really struggle with getting enough protein too. So I don't know if you're like that. And as we age, we need more protein also because you want to preserve your muscle mass. So protein needs to be part, especially for a diabetic, because this helps stabilize your blood sugar. Just eating carbs, the protein and carb combination really helps your blood sugars avoid that spike and drop. So you want to make sure you have protein. So carbohydrates, the craze right now is low carb diets, but they can be highly dangerous for somebody that's on insulin. So we want you to know carbs are part of a healthy diet. And so we really caution you from going on a low carb diet unless your physician is overseeing you to do that process. A low carb diet and a high protein very high protein diet can also lead to kidney failure. So it's not something you want to do lightly, and you really want to be under the care of a physician. So anyway, so some of the carbs, healthy carbs are, of course, your vegetables, your fruits, whole grains, so seeds and nuts and beans. But just remember that, especially the beans down here, they can have carbohydrate in them too. So, if you just want to just at least go into it knowing that maybe you want your carb portion to be a little less than a normal carb portion if you're using this as your protein. Okay. So, the complex carbohydrates are things that your body has to actually break down before they can turn into sugar. So these are some examples. And also like brown rice and things that like whole wheat bread are far better than the source that are white rice. It just turns in, and you'll see in the next slide, white bread is considered a simple sugar. So just make sure that you pick your types well. So this right here is simple sugars. And I just want to put a plug here. I have had so many of our patients, and I've been doing this for like 25 years. Of course, at least 75% of our patient population in cardiac rehab have diabetes also. So I have seen so many patients get off, I'm talking get off of medication by eliminating this right here, the sweet sodas and sweet tea.
Wow.
I mean, you would not believe how many people, the majority of their calories, like if you just looked at their calories for the day, comes from soda and sweet tea. So if you can just, maybe even if you can't, go cold turkey, if you can just eliminate that, you will be on the road to helping yourself. This right here talks about, you'll have a beverage over to the side. We really recommend water. I don't have this in the slide, but if your blood sugar is really high, if you drink a lot of water, it helps dilute it and bring your sugar down. So that's just the key. If you notice, we'll go over symptoms in a minute, but you can drink a lot of water and it helps dilute it. Some other low calorie drinks are options. Again, sweet tea, if you can go to unsweet tea, unsweet coffee. And I know we don't know the research on the artificial sweeteners, but I do know that going to artificial sweeteners will drop your blood, will not elevate your blood sugar. Now, I'm not saying you'll lose weight because there's some studies that show that it makes you hungrier by drinking diet sodas. But that's not true of everybody. But I'm just saying it will make an impact on your blood sugar if you go to diet or, the non-sugar drinks. So just to recap what I've just said, you'll just take your normal little plate, make sure again that it's not greater than 9 inches. Draw an imaginary line down the center, fill it up with colorful veggies. Usually if it's really colorful, it's low in carbs. That's just a trick you can do. And then you can have some carbs and you can have some protein. So with this, whenever you go to make a meal, you can see how easy it could be. And I have sent the PowerPoint so you can have slides. Hopefully, if you have a computer, maybe they could send these out if you need them. And then the next thing is we're talking about portions. So this right here, this handout, actually, if you take your fist and put it in that fist, if your fist is bigger than that, then you may not be able to go, then your fist is more than a cup. But this is just a good way to make sure that you know your portions. We say portion distortion. If you've seen how much pasta is recommended, it's crazy. And like a banana is 2 servings of a carbohydrate instead of 1. So there's a lot of tricks that I can't get into detail today, but I'm just giving you some highlights that can help you. And then it also talks about if you go to eating a lot of leafy vegetables, a lot of people like to load it up with salad dressings. And, you know, that can just cause you to gain weight. And you have to be careful about the calories in salad dressings. You know, they can be quite caloric filled. So, you know, if weight loss is your goal, we just caution people about that. And now I call this the fun part. We're going to talk about exercise, because I am, and like most of you, or you wouldn't be here, know the benefits of exercise. We all know that exercise, chronic exercise, meaning that you do it consistently, helps people lose weight, lower their blood pressure, reduce the risk of heart disease, improves cholesterol, blood sugars. It actually acts like another medication. It makes your cells more sensitive to the insulin you already produce. So if you've ever heard the medication metformin, the studies show that exercise is actually more effective if you will do it. That's the thing. It's easier for people to take a pill a lot of times, but if you'll do it, it's actually more effective than metformin. So the first step is you want to make sure you do get healthcare. Your healthcare provider gives you clearance to exercise, that your diabetes is managed, and you want to check your blood sugar before and after exercise. And you always want to eat something before exercise, especially if you're on insulin. So we have the biggest problem here when people go all night without eating. They come into the morning class and they haven't eaten and they take their medicine. Guess what happens? Their blood sugar tanks. Even people that are not on any medication, if you go over 30 minutes, you're really putting yourself at risk for a hypoglycemic response to exercise, even if you're not diabetic. So it's always best to eat a light snack. And we recommend like a carb and a protein, because that will tide you over. And always have a carbohydrate source with you, especially if you're on insulin. You never know whenever your blood sugar might decide to drop. So the recommendations from the American College of Sports Medicine for type 1 and type 2 are pretty much identical. Exercise needs to be aerobic in nature. Now, we also recommend strength training, flexibility, the whole fitness thing. But to manage your diabetes, your blood sugars, aerobic seems to have the biggest bang for your time. 3 days a week is minimum to get your cells to start being more sensitive to insulin. But 7 days a week is actually the best. I know that sounds like, 7 days a week, but it's just even 20 minutes. If you treat it like a medicine and do it the same time of day, and then that way you can, I got a message here that anyway, I didn't mean to skip that, but anyway, that distracted me, this little message here, so sorry. Anyway, it is recommended that you do eat something before you exercise, especially if you're on insulin or sulfonylurea medications. I can't pronounce that word good, but I'll show you a list of them so you'll know if you're on it. Because like I said, exercise acts like another medication. And some of the medicines that you take by mouth also causes your pancreas to create more insulin. So here's some of the guidelines. If you check your blood sugar before exercise, if it's less than 100 and you're on those medications, you want to consume 20 to 30 grams before you exercise. If your blood sugar is between 100 to 250, go ahead and exercise. These are the gray areas here. If it's between 251 and 300 and you're not spilling ketones, which a lot of people can't test their ketones, and we don't test ketones anymore here. What we do and what we have found safe to do is let somebody exercise for 10 minutes, then recheck their blood sugar and make sure it's not going the wrong way. If you're spilling ketones, what happens whenever your body stresses during exercise, it can actually make you produce more blood sugar. It does the opposite. So that a lot of people don't realize that, especially for type 1s. We really don't worry about it too much for type 2 diabetics, but type 1s, if their blood sugar is high, it can actually, exercise can stimulate to make your blood sugar go even higher. So again, what we do here in our program, because we can't send people to the lab and get them back, is just to let them exercise for 10 minutes. If it's greater than, now we don't let people exercise over 300. We just send them home or call their doctor and tell them that they need to get it under better control. But in the gray area, since we don't have a way to check the ketones, we will let them exercise 10 minutes, recheck it. So some people were checking their blood sugars every 10 minutes during exercise. So again, we want you to, if it's greater than 300, consult your physician, because what you're doing is not working to control your blood sugar. So these are some examples of medications that stimulate your pancreas to make more insulin. So it kind of acts like insulin. So you definitely, if you recognize this medicine and you're taking it, you want to make sure that you're checking your blood sugar before you exercise.
Debbie, I think we should,
And
for those that, Debbie, can you hear me?
Yes.
For those that don't have the ability to see those drug names, can we try to, can you put that back up and just read out what they are?
Sure.
And I know
okay.
it might be hard to
Diabetic.
pronounce some of them.
Pronounce them. Yeah, I'll do my best. Diabetic, glucanase, micronase, gluburide. I'm going to kill this one. Glimide, Amaryl, glimepiride, diabetinase, chloropropamide, yes, glucotrol, glipizide. That's the one I see the most. Tolinase, tolaziamide, and tolabutamide. So I probably
And you get a gold star for those pronunciations. Let me tell you.
Well, thank you, because I am not. I have difficulty with medication. Some of the names that I don't see a lot. So anyway, and we do. I have shared the PowerPoint, so that can maybe be on your website, or maybe if people need a handout, we could mail it to them if they want that later.
So what I would like to then tell the people that have joined us by phone is, if you would like a copy of what we're going over today, please call your center and let them know. Call the Eastern Center or the Western Center and tell them you want a copy of today's presentation and you need a hard copy. You need paper format of it. And then that way we can make sure you have it. All right, go ahead, Debbie. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. The last part is we're going to talk about the signs and symptoms of high and low blood sugar. And there's 3 that are for both. So it makes it very hard to distinguish. So that's why you really need to be able to check your blood sugar if you can. A lot of pharmacies, a lot of doctor's offices may actually give meters. I know our diabetes program here can give people meters. They just have to get a prescription for the strips. But anyway, so if you feel tired, irritable, and blurry vision, that could be either high sugar or low sugar. And if you start going to the bathroom a lot, that's called polyuria. That's a sign of high sugar. And if you're extremely thirsty, that's another sign of high sugar. If you feel tired, irritable, and blurry, it can also be low sugar. But the ones that we see mostly are people are dizzy and shaky. And some people, the blurred vision gets like stars. They see stars. Some people get a really bad headache and just break out in a sweat, which the sweating is kind of hard to determine. Are they sweating because they're exercising, or are they, but it's usually like a cold sweat, and it's just sudden. Increase in hunger and paleness. So the ones that we see again is the dizziness, shakiness, and I have seen people turn really, really pale with exercise. So those are the signs and symptoms that you need to be aware of, not just when you're exercising, but, you know, I've heard of people that when they go to shopping trips during the holidays, maybe they don't get their meals, it's postponed for whatever reason, they had to wait so long. It's always good to have, especially if you're on insulin or one of those medications, to have a source of glucose. And we recommend that you buy from the pharmacy, they have little gels that have 15 grams. And that way, if you get really, the heat don't mess with it. Like if you rely on candy or something, the heat can make it melt. And also, if you won't get choked on it. So a lot of people, even drinking something, sometimes people can get choked. But with the gel, you just squirt it in your mouth. And even if you were like almost about to pass out, it would absorb in your mouth even to give you a little bit of glucose. So that's our recommendations for especially patients that are on insulin. And, you know, we really caution people because we hear about people doing this all the time. They'll go shopping with family and maybe, somebody's long shopper, they won't get out of the store and you're waiting on them. So it's always good to have something like this. Okay, so this concludes my talk. I would like to quiz everybody, if that's okay. If we're running out of time, I won't. But so what method of eating is recommended by the American Diabetes Association that I talked to at the front? Anybody know the answer? You eat on it. It's called the blank method.
Plate.
Yes, plate. Very good. The plate method. Okay, so if you're using the plate method, what should half of that plate consist of?
Vegetables.
Yes,
Oh, simple sugars.
vegetables is the correct answer. Low carb
Just kidding.
vegetables.
Right.
That was a good one. I know a lot of people would like it to be simple carbs. Okay. What type of carbohydrate is the piece of cake? Is it a simple carbohydrate or is it a complex?
Simple.
Simple. Yes. Very good. Okay. And what is the lowest number your blood sugar should be before you engage in exercise?
100.
100. Yes. I'll tell you, somebody's really.
Woo, Patty's a superstar.
Yeah. And who can list some symptoms of the low blood sugar?
Dizziness, weakness,
Hunger.
cranky.
Yes. All right. Yes. Double gold star there. You guys retained a whole lot. So very good. That concludes my presentation, and thank you for your attention and for putting up with my pronunciations of some of those medications.
Thank you, Debbie. Most informative.
Thank
Does
you.
anybody have any questions for Debbie?
Pardon?
Any questions for Debbie? Anybody have any questions or comments?
Oh, no, not really.
No. Thank you so much, Debbie. I think it was very informative, and I think it was presented in a way that's really easy to understand. And I appreciate you bringing in the exercise piece because we're all about exercise here at the walking group. So thanks so much. And we are going to put Jackie on right now. Is going to do some little stretching for us.
So here we go. So we're gonna before we start to stretch, we need to move a little bit, and we need to do a little bit of warm up. So you can go ahead and you can either stand up or you can sit, but you're just gonna want to kind of march in place a little bit. Just walk in place. You can, if you're up, you can kind of walk forward and back. We just want to walk for 3 minutes or so. We just want to kind of get warmed up. While we do this, let's just do a little bit of chatting and just have people, as you're moving, just share with me, what do you like best about the fall season? Just tell me what you think. What do you like best about fall?
Colors of the leaves.
Colors. Yep. What else do you like
Temperature.
about fall?
Temperature?
Temperature.
Yeah.
How many like it when it gets a little bit cooler? Woohoo, that feels better, doesn't it? All right. What else do you think about when you think about fall?
Christmas is around the corner.
Christmas around the corner. Do you have any special memories of the fall? I have one special memory that always comes to mind when I feel that crisp air, and it's a time when I was working and I was really stressed, and my husband and I took a little day trip to a park up in upstate New York, and we just sat on the ground and we had a bottle of wine and some crackers. And I just always remember that as a way that I found really peace and solace at a time when I was dealing with stress. And I just always go back to that feeling that I had sitting there and just taking in the world on a fall day. Anybody else have any? That's right. What else? Does anybody else have any special memories about fall that you go ahead and roll your shoulders back as we're doing this? Just kind of, we're trying to get our heart rate up a little bit. We're trying to get it so that we get the juices flowing in our joints, so we're ready to take on the walk. We don't ever want to go from seated to walking breakneck speed without doing a little bit of warm up and a little bit of stretching. Okay.
So Jackie,
This-
when
this-
I was a
this
kid up
thanks-
in Michigan, Michigan is famous for apples, and so we would go on a hike, and then we would end up at the cider mill. So we would see them how they would make
Oh.
cider. We'd get some nice hot donuts, and it was just a really nice time.
Oh, I remember my husband is also from Michigan, and he always told me about the famous cider mill. We had one where I lived in upstate New York, and I remember the cider donuts that were covered with cinnamon and sugar. Oh, there's nothing like those.
I know. I'm getting hungry now.
I've started putting, so one of the other things that they say that is really good for you is to include spices more in your food. So one of the things that I started a couple weeks ago is in my coffee in the morning, I sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg on top of my coffee.
Yep.
And it is really, really good. So when you add spices like that, you're adding a little bit of extra antioxidants to your diet, which is good for you. Cinnamon is also, and maybe if Debbie's still on, she can tell me whether
Good
this is
for
true or
blood
false.
sugar.
But yeah, cinnamon is supposed to help your blood sugar,
That's
what
it.
I
It does.
understand.
Yeah, there's
So-
been lots of studies done.
All
on
right,
it.
so okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start doing our stretches, and I'm going to try to explain these well enough so that the people that are on the phone can join me doing it. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to do a calf stretch. So if you are, if you can, I'd like you to stand up and stand behind a chair. If you can't stand because you may be a fall risk, I want you to do this seated. And what you would do to do a seated calf stretch is go ahead and just sit out toward the front of your chair. I've got a little thing here I'm going to cheat with here in a minute. And you're going to sit at the end of your chair and put your left leg out straight, and you're going to pull your toe back, and you should feel a stretch on your calf. Okay. Now we're going to hold these stretches in the beginning for 30 seconds. If you're standing, you can go ahead and you can lean against a chair, and you're going to bring one foot back. Make sure that back foot is straight. You want your feet shoulder width apart. Okay. And you're going to bend that front knee and just kind of keep both heels on the floor. And let's count to 30. Okay. Whether you're sitting and you're pulling your toe back towards your nose with your leg out straight, or you're standing. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, relax your shoulders, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Make sure you're pushing that back heel down. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, go ahead and bring that foot forward. then do the same thing on the other leg. Go ahead and bring that foot back, press those heels down or pull the toe back, depending on whether you're standing or you're sitting. And go ahead and count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Keep focusing on that back hip, back calf
18, 19,
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Bring that back foot forward again. Okay, and the next stretch we're going to do is our hamstring. This one we're going to take, and you can do this one of two ways. You can do this either sitting, and I'll show you the sitting version. If you did calf stretch that way, you were halfway there. What you do is you put your left leg out straight. Okay, you're bending the right leg and you're resting your hands on there. The reason you rest your hands on this other thigh is to keep your posture nice and tall. You always want ear over shoulder, shoulders over hips. Pretend that somebody is pulling on your head to make you straight. Okay, what you do after you do that is you take and you're going to hinge forward, tuck your tailbone under like you're a bad dog. You just tucking your tail under, and then you're going to hinge at the hips and bring your chest towards your thigh, and you should feel the stretch all the way to the hamstring. You hold that, and I'm going to show you the same thing as if you're out and you're out at a park or something and you want to do this. You can actually take and put your foot up on the curb, and you're going to press your heel down, and you should feel that all the way up the back of that leg. So either way, let's count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Come on back up. I'm going to explain that a little bit better for those that are doing the standing version. So if you're taking and you're doing the standing version, what you want to make sure you do is you want to keep back foot relatively close to the curb, because once you have the front leg straight, you're going to bend the back leg just a little bit, but you don't want to bend it so that the knee comes in front of the toe. Okay, so you're just lowering a little bit to then feel the stretch in the back of that leg. So let's go ahead, and you're going to hinge at the hips again. Lean a little bit forward and make sure your knee is not in front of your toe on the bent leg. And let's count again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Come on back up, stand nice and tall or sit nice and tall. And then we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So the hip flexor stretch, I'm going to sit down in the chair and show this version. And what you're going to do is you're going to sit toward the front. You're going to sit in your chair and you're going to turn to the side. So I'm going to turn to the right. Okay. And I'm going to have my left hip off the chair. And I'm going to bring the left leg back. Now, if you start to get a cramp in the hamstring, that's not uncommon. Just go back a little bit slower and let your leg get used to it. So you want your left knee hanging off the front of the chair. And you're going to tuck this tailbone under because you want to get a stretch in the hip flexor, which is right your leg meets your hip. It's a tendon right in the front of there, or a ligament. And you're going to take and you're going to tuck your tailbone under, and you're going to hold. You want to feel the stretch in the front of the thigh, which is what they call the quadricep, and also in the hip flexor. And we're going to tuck our tailbone under, and we count to 30. The other option you have to do this is to do this standing, and you're going to bring one leg back, and you're going to again tuck your tailbone under and kind of bend both legs, and you should feel the stretch up the quadricep and in the hip flexor again. Let's count to 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Come on back up, bring that back leg forward or bring it back in. You're going to bring the other leg out straight. If you're sitting, if you're standing, bring the other leg back. Okay, everybody tuck your tailbone under like you're a bad dog. Okay, if you're standing, you're going to bend both legs a little bit. You're going to feel that stretch in the front of the quadricep, in the front of the thigh, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, keeping about those muscles, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Bring the back leg forward or bring the leg in. The last one we're going to stretch is the IT band. And I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do standing, and then I'll show you how I do it sitting. So what you're going to do is if you're standing next to a wall or a chair, the side that the wall or the chair is on, bring that leg behind the other leg, okay? And then you're going to lean into that wall or that chair, and you want to feel the stretch around the outside of your hip. That's one way to do it. One way to do it, we do it frequently in exercise class, is you'll take and you'll put your left knee over your left heel, and you bring your right leg up, and you're going to get the same stretch kind of down that IT band, and you can do it this way if you're sitting. If you're doing it this way and you're sitting, again, you want to be tall, okay, and you're going to hinge at the hips and come forward. Okay, and bring your chest towards your thighs. I'm going to do this one standing since that's what the Walking with Ease program shows. So again, the leg next to the chair goes behind, and then lean that hip into the wall, and let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Go ahead and release that. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to use the chair on the other side rather than turn my back to you. Again, if you're seated, now you're going to take your right under your right knee, your heel under your right knee, then you're going to bring up the left leg so that your left ankle is resting on your left thigh if you can, and you're going to press your leg down and hinge at the hips and bring your chest towards your thighs. If you're standing, again, you're going to bring the leg that's next to the chair behind you, and you're going to lean that hip into the chair so you feel the stretch down the outside of the hip, okay? And we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Come on back up. And you're all stretched out. You're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to do your walking.
All right. Thanks, Jackie. I feel better already. So we have a virtual walk. We are going to go to the Western Chatham Senior Center. So I want to know.
And went to video this. You can see the glimmers of the sunlight and how wonderful it is. And you'll get an opportunity to see some of the geese and the baby geese that are there as you walk around the pond. You also get in proximity to our parking lot, so you don't feel like you're deep in the woods. You're close to things. So if you need assistance, there's usually someone around that if you need to get some help. You know, like I said before, the trail is an earth trail, so it is an uneven terrain. So make sure that you are steady, and if you use a walker or rollator, make sure that it's level when you're walking. As you can walk and see, you can feel the sunlight coming on to you. And it is clear, so you don't have to worry about a lot of trees covering or moving limbs or branches. The biggest piece is watching, as Alan has shown you, the goose poop. So just make sure you're watching where you're stepping, because you don't want to take anything home with you that you didn't bring with you. As we're approaching a sitting area, for those that may be tired or just need a quick break, you have a bench that you're welcome to sit in and just take a break for a second. Now, as we approach the road, please be cautious to wait and look for traffic in both directions. Although we are closed, we still have the traffic flow of people coming and going. I hear the rustle of the wind as we're trying to walk our trail. And we have markers that you can read different activities as you're walking through. And notice there are big boulders that are beautiful as you're walking. They can also be used as a rest area as well if you've gotten to a point where you're tired. And you can kind of lean against a boulder to rest for a second. We are only approximately 3 minutes into our walk, but we're doing really, really good with our walk. We're getting plenty of vitamin D as we continue to walk down our trail and head towards our ponds. So as you can see in the Western Center, we are surrounded by water or have the access to beautiful ponds and water. So you get that soothing, natural feeling for those that enjoy the sound of water and being around it and the openness of it. And again, I cannot emphasize enough that the terrain is earth, so be cautious in your walking. We also are approaching a rest area if you have reached a point where you just need to tie your shoes. As we approach, we're going around again in the circle. Now, the trail is in a circular motion or circle, so it's not like a square or, oblong. So you get the opportunity to know that where you start, you're going to eventually get back to. Occasionally, people will come out and fish, so you may see some people out trying to fish and do a catch and release. So you get the opportunity to see nature at its best. Now, if you do an early morning walk, the sunrise over the green area is amazing. But as it gets colder, it's not going to get the best opportunity to come out early in the morning because it'd be dark. The little hill incline that we're walking up. Now, be mindful that there are pine straws there, which if the area is wet can become a little slippery. So please be cautious if you walk after it has rained. As you've noted, we have plenty of rest areas. So never feel like you cannot walk it without having an opportunity to take a break. We are 5 minutes into our walk. We are doing amazing. We are doing such a great job. Anyone getting tired or just looking for that finish line that we're doing such a great job at? You can see where Mother Nature has had her way with some of the trees throughout the years. You also know, as you saw law enforcement passing by us, that you're typically very safe there because law enforcement has an office in that complex as well, and they're frequently there. And it's also an opportunity to continue to have social distancing because of the width of our trail. You can be a good 6 feet apart and walk in clusters. We also have, again, you saw another rest area in our trail and our hill area. So there is a slight decline in our trail. So just like I said, if you're using a walker or any type of apparatus, please be very cautious. I cannot emphasize that enough. Our heart rate should be increasing quite well at this point. So, typically when you're out walking the trail, the geese are usually out with you. The day this was filmed, apparently the geese had gone for a mini hiatus, but they are back again. So know that you may have geese to assist you with your walk. If you happen to have a walking stick, this would be a good area to use your walking stick with you, just to make sure that you're on terrain and able to get mobility up and down some of those small inclines. As Alan is showing us, we have large mature trees to give you some shade. So if you're becoming heated, you have the opportunity to get a break from the sun. We are 8 minutes into our walk. As I stated before, individuals come out and fish. As you can see, some individuals are going to find their perfect fishing spot. So you can get a walk-in as well as a peaceful fishing expedition all in one day. We are returning towards the parking area. So we are approaching our 9-minute marker for our walk. We are having a slight incline on our walk. And again, our terrain is earth. So be cautious in what you wear, footwear-wise, and making sure that you are steady and watching where you are stepping. We are returning towards the beginning of our trail. And people like to walk with their music, but I like to walk with my music. So when I'm walking, I'm not really sensing my distance or how long I'm out. I'm just going by what songs I'm listening to and how good my music is. So it also gives me peace. As you can see, we are returning back to our original starting spot. Again, be cautious as you're getting ready to cross the street or the road. We're 10 minutes and 31 seconds into our walk. There's plenty of parking when you get to our center, so you don't have to worry about trying to find a parking space to begin your walk. You have plenty of options. We're back, getting closer to our beautiful lake. And like I said before, the geese are usually out, and they've had babies, so there are tons of geese. So also when you drive up, be mindful that they may be trying to do their parade across the street. So they may deter you.
I'm going to suggest at this point, can you hear me, Takitha?
I can hear you well.
So I would suggest at this point that if you're walking, go ahead and slow your pace down just a little bit so you can cool down while Takitha gives you the final, calls us into the home stretch here.
Yep, we're almost at the end. And also after you've cooled yourself down, because Jackie's going to cool you down after our walk, which we're going to be ending momentarily, we have rockers on the our front porch. So after you have cooled down, you're welcome to sit in the rockers and take a nice little overview of the walk that you just took. We're back where we started at the beginning of our trail. We've hit our 12-minute mark. You should be very proud of yourselves, because we have accomplished our trail. And Alan is starting to walk the trail again. Jackie and Liz, if you want to stop the video, because we're walking it again so you can have time for cool down.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Takitha. I didn't tell you all that Takitha is the senior center manager, the new one over at the Western site. She took David Miller's place. Let me turn this off so I don't hear the crunching. And so Jackie's going to lead us in a couple more stretching exercises so we can cool down. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
So, yeah, if you're gonna, there we go. So what I want you to do at this point is if you're standing or if you're sitting, go ahead and just keep moving a little bit. Just slow down your pace. You want to cool down. You want to lower your heart rate a little bit before we start stretching. I took that opportunity. Now, I am not a runner. I'll tell you that right now. My doctor told me years ago not to run based on the condition of my knee. But what I did was, as we did that walk, instead of walking it, I jogged in place without putting a lot of pressure on my knee. I just, I wasn't pounding it. And I was able to get my heart rate up quite a bit. And it really felt good. So just like we did at the beginning, just kind of walk around a little bit or walk in place, just march in place and just let your heart rate down. And just go ahead and just enjoy what you see around you. If you're on the phone, you can't see, but behind me, I've got some beautiful woods. You can look at my beautiful woods if you want. If you're not seeing that, just imagine walking in the beautiful woods. Imagine what you might see near you. You might see some squirrels walking around. You may see some trees losing their leaves and the leaves just kind of fluttering down through the air. I've got a couple areas here where I have leaves that are actually floating in the air because they're stuck on spider webs. So it actually looks like I've got ghosts holding up my little leaves in the air, in the midair. So it's kind of neat to see what Mother Nature does. We've had a lot of mushrooms around this year. Every time we turn around, we see a new kind of mushroom in the ground, different colors, different shapes. It's been pretty amazing to see. So we're kind of cooling down now. We really want to be thankful for what we're able to see, thankful for what we're able to do. We may not be able to do everything that we wish we could do, but we got to be thankful for what we can do. It's part of what November is so powerful about, is helping us remember those things, focus on our blessings. So let's go ahead, and if you remember the stretches that we want to do, there's 4 different types of stretches you want to do. You want to stretch your calf, and again, you can do that while you're standing, and you can bring one foot back and press that back heel down and feel the stretch in your calf, or you can do this sitting. I'll do these sitting this time. So finishing up, I'm gonna let me just change my screen just a little bit here. Go ahead and sit forward on your chair. Bring your left leg out in front. The left leg is straight, the right leg is bent. I've got my hands folded on my bent right leg, and I'm going to pull my toes back on my left leg as far as I can, and I want to feel a stretch down the back of the calf on that leg. Also make sure that your tailbone is tucked underneath, protect that lower back. And the difference between the warm-up stretching and the cool-down stretching is the warm-up stretching we do for 30 seconds. For the cool-down stretching, we do it for 45 seconds to a minute. We'll do it for 45 seconds today. And I'm just going to kind of estimate that. I'm going to talk to kind of make the time go by a little quicker. So we've got some wonderful things that we're planning for December as well. You're stretching that left leg. Go ahead and just concentrate on stretching that left leg. You're pulling your toe back and breathe nice and deeply as you do this. Go ahead and breathe into not just your chest, but breathe into your belly as well, belly breathing. And breathe in nice and deep. And then exhale out. Keep that foot stretching, keep that calf stretching. You can hinge at the hips. And what we'll do is we'll add in not just the calf stretch, but we'll add in the hamstring stretch by when you hinge at the hips and bring your chest towards your thigh and you're still pulling your toe back, you're stretching the whole back of that leg. Keep breathing. Breathe in nice and deep, completely inhaling, completely exhaling. And another good breathing technique to use is between your inhale and your exhale, take a slight pause. You're thinking about your breathing and the muscles you're stretching, which with this one, it's the back of the calf and the back of the thigh, the hamstring. Go ahead and slowly press on right leg as you lift your torso up nice and proud. Bend that left leg back in, now the right leg. We're going to straighten the right leg. We're going to pull that toe back toward our nose. Feel that stretch up, especially in the calf. Then go ahead and hinge at the hips. Bring the chest toward the thigh until you feel a nice stretch up the entire back of that leg, both the calf and the hamstring. And we're going to hold it. I know Thanksgiving is going to be different for a lot of people this year and the holidays. And again, think about what you're thankful for and what blessings you have, and maybe that'll help make it so that you don't feel as much loss as you would otherwise. Another good thing to do to help with feeling better and keeping your emotions stable is to make sure you're getting your exercise like this. Keep breathing nice and deep. Because when you exercise, you release endorphins, which are the feel-good hormones that makes your mood lift. Slowly come back up. We're going to go ahead. So we've stretched our calf and our hamstring. Now we're going to stretch our quadricep and our hip flexor. So go ahead and turn in your chair toward the right and have your left hip off the front of the chair. Go ahead and bring that left leg down. Now you can grab your ankle and pull it down if you want, or you can just go back, but do go ahead and make sure you tuck your tailbone under and do what we call bad dog with your tailbone so that you feel the stretch in the hip flexor as well as in the front of the quadricep, the front of the thigh. And we're going to breathe here again. I feel a nice light breeze coming in. It's not a cool breeze. It's not a hot breeze. It's really a nice temperature. Keep breathing. I see my leaf that's floating, blowing in the wind. It's pretty funny that the spider web is strong enough to hold it even when it blows in the wind. Keep breathing. And noticing those things in nature is what you call mindfulness. So you're paying attention to what's in the moment. Keep breathing. Now let's go ahead and slowly bring that leg forward. And we're going to turn to the other side. You're going to turn to the left. You're going to let your right hip hit the chair, hang on to the back of the chair so you don't fall off. We don't want anybody falling. Then bring that right leg back. Oh, that feels good. Tuck the tail under into bad dog. Keep the belly nice and tight, but you're concentrating on the feeling in the front of the front of the thigh, which is the quadricep, as well as the hip flexor. Keep breathing. I've shared with my exercise focus, I do my exercise class out here, that I've got such beautiful flowers behind my house right now, wildflowers. We've got a lot of yellow flowers. I probably have several thousand flowers in bloom behind my house right now, which is absolutely breathtaking. We have yellows, we have blues, we have reds, we have pinks. It's just really, really gorgeous. Keep breathing. Keep thinking about stretching that quadricep and that flexor. And go ahead and let's release that leg, bring that back leg forward, turn to the front. And now we're going to take and facing front, and we're sitting toward the front of the chair again. We're going to make sure that our right heel is underneath our right knee, and we're going to bring up the left leg and try to rest the left ankle above the right knee. So it's like you're sitting with your knee, your leg crisscross on top of your other thigh. You're going to sit tall and proud. You're going to start with your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over hips, so you're nice and tall and proud. Relax the shoulders down. Take your hand and press it into between the shin and the thigh, and lower that knee a little bit, and hinge at the hips and bring the chest toward the thighs. And that stretch that IT band and hips in a really good way. We're going to hold it here and continue to breathe. So who are you thankful for in your life? Anybody want to share, or is everybody muted? Everybody might be muted. Well, let's just do a little advertisement here then. We are doing what we call Thankful Tree, and we have asked our seniors to continue to your stretch, to take one of our leaves that we have cut out, or we sent home with the calendars, and write what you're thankful on and get it back to Senior Center. And we'll put those leaves in a tree. We're having staff do it as well. And then what we're going to do when we send out the normal meals to the people that get them through Meals on Wheels, as well as our congregate when they get their meals on the 24th, we're going to give them a picture of our thankful tree. And we're going to give them a list of the things that people have said they're thankful for. Let's go ahead and release this side stretch. Come on back up. Unwind your legs. Now make sure your left heel is under your knee. Bring your right leg up and rest it on top of that left knee. And you're going to go ahead and lower that knee, but if you can, again, watch your posture. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. You're tall and proud, shoulders are relaxed. You should feel a stretch as you do that in your hips and your right hand. Then go ahead and hinge the hips, bring the chest toward the thighs. Your back is still straight, and I say your chest towards your thighs because you're not bringing shoulders towards your thighs, you're bringing your chest so your back remains straight. So if you can fill us out, if you can give us, send to us one of the leaves with what you're thankful for, that would be awesome. We would love to include you on it. You don't use one of our leaves. You can make your own colored leaves on construction paper or whatever, or start with a white one and color it. I don't care how you do it. But we want to have people focus on what they're thankful for this year, especially. Let's go ahead and let's release the stretch. Come on up and unwind. And that concludes our stretching. And again, remember you stretch for 30 seconds about when you're doing your warm up, and you do it for 45 seconds to a minute for each stretch when you're doing your cool down. Back to you, Liz. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. Okay. Thanks, Jackie, for doing that. And hopefully everybody learned something today and we're able to feel better with the stretches. And also you got your heart's happy because of the aerobic activity. And just want to thank Debbie for coming on today. It was a great informative session. Jackie is always doing your stretching. And Neria, not Neria, Keith, I think she's off, but for guiding us on the trail. And Patty was a trooper and she helped call all the people in. And so we got more participation. And so we are thrilled that you are all here. I know Neria called some people in too. And Bonnie shows up at all of her, at most of our activities. And so she's a trooper with that. So I wanted to let you know that the next session is going to be December the, let me get the right date on that one. I got to turn it on my calendar. I'm still using paper calendars. I haven't graduated yet. So we will be on Tuesday, the 8th of December, and it'll be at 11:15. And a special treat that we're going to be doing is on laughter yoga. So we're going to have fun. So get your groove on and come on down. And we're also going to take a trip to Briar Creek. I think that's where our trail is. And so as usual, we'll have our regulars there. And so encourage somebody else to come on it, and it'll be a neat time. So thank you all so much. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of the day.
Liz.
Enjoy the weather outside. So thank you.